Despite its volatile political past, Chile is a stunning example of what can happen when a country embraces economic freedom. In 1975, Chile was next to last among all the countries ranked by the Fraser Report. Today, it is among the world's top 10 economically free countries, a ranking they have enjoyed since 2005.
Bueno, esto nació el año...
This idea was born as a result of our family's initiative to do something together to try to escape poverty.
de surgir un poco de la pobreza.
That's how we created this company. This partnership between brothers that started little by little.
Poco a poco.
John Hernandez grew up in a small Chilean village. He went to work on a beekeeping farm to learn the trade. And after 5 years, he, his 2 brothers and sister pooled their money to invest in their own beekeeping business.
We walked into a business without knowing what to expect from the future.
They would concentrate on honey production and pollination services for local farmers. Their business slowly began to grow, and eventually the bee farm could support their many growing families. Then, in 2005, there was a sudden decline in bee populations, jeopardizing crop pollination around the world. Nearly 1/3 of human food requires pollination from bees. Since then, the crisis has only worsened, with 1/2 or more of the bee population dying.
The bee health situation was very bad, so we got serious about our professionalism. We were no longer peasant beekeepers that we were at the beginning. We had to turn our company around and incorporate technology, and to do that, we had to hire experts and bring them from abroad so we could be taught how to save our bees. We trained ourselves and educated our workers.
But maintaining the health of his bees was not going to grow the business. John needed a new source of income. His research led him to a large French bee producer in desperate need of new hives. John's company began exporting queen bees and even full hives to France. Since Chile has one of the most open trade policies in South America, implementing this new source of income was not difficult.
By producing queen bees for Europe, we generate income in the month of April, May and June, months traditionally with no income for us.
John and his family had made a new life for themselves and for others in their community. For his parents, such success would have been unthinkable. One leader of Chile's economic transformation was Hernán Bussi.
You have to look backwards and see how much poverty there was some time ago in Chile. There was a perception then by people that was convinced that the way out for a society was communism.
In 1970, Chile elected a new president. Salvador Allende was the candidate of both the socialist and communist parties. Allende took immediate and controversial steps to implement a centralized economic system fully controlled by the government.
A strong percentage of the population legitimized violence as a form of resolving political differences. Allende was the founder of one of the organizations for the promotion of revolution in Latin America. And the expansion of the economic activities of the state were done not by law, not through parliament, but simply by taking over.
They actually wanted to destroy the market as a way of taking over politically, and then you have the power, because when you take the market, then you have the power.
Allende nationalized all businesses. He took over farms larger than 200 acres and sent armed militia to commandeer the mining companies as well as many small family-owned stores. He greatly increased government social programs to aid the poor. But the economy was in chaos, and his government could not fund the programs they had created. In just 1 month, inflation soared to 22%, and in 1973, Chile's Supreme Court unanimously denounced Allende's actions as unconstitutional. In September of 1973, General of the army, Augusto Pinochet, led a coup d'etat against the Allende government. As the army moved in, Salvador Allende committed suicide. In less than a day, a military junta controlled Chile, and Pinochet was proclaimed president. It is estimated that under his regime, 3,000 people were killed, and another 25,000 were imprisoned or tortured, including women and children. A dramatic monument to the disappeared stands today to remind Chileans of that terrible period. But there is a great paradox within Pinochet's rule. Many generals wanted the military to control the economy as well, but instead Pinochet invited outside experts to try and save the collapsing system. He handed over the restructuring of the country's economy to a group of young graduates of the University of Chicago, students influenced by the Nobel laureate Milton Friedman. They became known as the Chicago Boys.
The Chicago influence in Chile was relevant because it created a new brand of economists, more modern, trained economists, people that believed in free markets and a free society. That kind of things were a novelty at the beginning of the 70s in Latin America and in Chile.
Chile implemented an open trade policy, returned businesses to private ownership, and privatized the pension system. Although a difficult transition, the economy began to improve, soon growing at an unprecedented rate, and the world took notice.
Competitive imports mean Chilean manufacturers have to raise productivity and quality or go to the wall. Statistics indicate that 130 Chilean businesses did go bankrupt in the first quarter of 1980. Businesses ranging from large factories to small neighborhood stores. But at the same time, there are indications that industrial and agricultural production nationwide is slowly increasing. There is no shortage of customers for the wide range of goods on sale at reasonable prices.
Although economic freedom had been achieved, political freedom would not be realized until 1991. Pinochet finally authorized an election and was defeated. He stepped down, although the legacy of his brutality lives on.
This economy is the only way in which the poor can overcome their situation. And that we have seen in Chile 100%. And you can have social mobility, which in Chile didn't exist. 3% of the population went to university. Today, we have nearly 40%. 75% is the first generation that's going to university. To me, that's a much fairer country than the one that existed when I was little.
Over the past 3 decades, Chile has transformed itself. Its poverty rate was then 40%. Today, it is 14%. Extreme poverty in Chile has dropped from 16% to 3%. And now, there are several independent programs designed to promote and support entrepreneurial activities among the poor. Veronica Crerso is a participant in one such program.
My name is Veronica Crerso, and my microfactory is Fibras Diseños de Hogar. We manufacture loom, weaved, and felt objects. We make rugs, throws, and cushions. And we are planning on making curtains and sheets in the future, all home decor.
Veronica and her family live below the poverty line in Viña del Mar, in an encampment of simple homes. Electricity is unofficially taken from the street. Water comes from the community cisterns, and there is no sewer system.
We began training, and we were there for over a year learning how to weave on a loom, to make felt, to sew, and select materials. Learning how to manage a microfactory. So far, we have made 20,000 pesos we have saved. With that money, we will buy samul to make a rug that was ordered.
Today, Veronica and her partners are moving into their new workshop.
We want to prove that even though we live in an encampment, we can do it. We want to have more income and at the same time make our business grow so we can employ our own people, all of those that live here at the encampment. That is why we decided to do our workshop right here where we live. We have 3 children we have to send to school, and we have to make efforts for their sake. We fight for them. I'm giving them something better than what my parents could give me.
Beekeeper John Hernandez is also working hard to create a better life for his family. He believes he can help America's problem with dying bees. But the United States has strict import regulations that forbid the importation of bees from South America.
They need bees. That's what we are working for right now, negotiating that.
In the meantime, he remains appreciative of the business he has from Europe.
Today's situation is so different. For sure, a lot has changed in my life.